Hello again, my friends. Darktide's patch 15 just released a few days ago and more or less overhauled the Veteran Sharpshooter class for a second time. So in this video I wanted to discuss some of those changes, give my thoughts on the state of the Veteran class, and then share a build I put together on patch night that I quite enjoyed. To dive straight into the heart of it, I am fairly ambivalent on this Veteran update. Overall, I think the Veteran is in a pretty decent spot, and it still is very much viable and fun and has some very interesting stuff going on that we can discuss. But I do hope that Fat Shark is remaining open to the idea of making some rather large changes in the future to the Veteran tree because, honestly, it feels like a mess at the moment. The biggest issue I take is not the actual performance of the class, but rather just the structure of the skill tree. It has too many nodes and is just way too long. I mean, look at this thing. Holy shit is it long. Not only does it require an investment of 3 to 4 additional talent points compared to other classes to even reach a keystone, the keystones are at the bottom of these long pillars that have zero crossover for almost half the height of the tree. So if you want to try out any of the new keystone features, your build is basically going to be a straight line to the keystone with maybe 5 points left over to explore some other features. This tree leaves virtually no room for customization if you want to take up a keystone, which unfortunately means that most builds the community is coming up with all end up looking and feeling rather similar. And while yes, obviously keystones are optional, you don't need to take a keystone to be successful, it feels rather bad to be looking forward to trying new class features and ending up very restricted in our ability to do so. If Fat Shark were to ask for my input, I would say that each leg of the tree needs to be shorter by about 3 to 4 nodes, and several talents need to be reabsorbed into neighboring talents to improve the performance and just generally improve the talent economy of the skill tree. For example, the relentless modifier, which refreshes the duration of Executioner's stance, is essentially required to make the ability work at all because without it, the ability only works for 5 seconds, which is more or less useless. There's no reason I can see for this talent to be an add-on, and should just be baked back into Executioner's stance to free up that talent point to be used in making the build more interesting somewhere else. There are examples like this all over the place in the skill tree. But as for the new keystones themselves, they are all quite good actually. My favorite of the keystones at the moment, from my admittedly rather short time spent playtesting them, would be the leftmost keystone, Marksman's Focus. This keystone lets you build up stacks of a buff called Focus, which improves your finesse power and the reload speed of your gun. This essentially means that your headshots, weak spot hits, and crits will all be supercharged and do a shitload more damage, letting you melt most things if you just fire your gun at head level. I've seen a lot of panic and complaints about the mechanic on it that the stacks decay over time as you move around, but from my experience with it, they ramp up very quickly during combat and decay rather slowly, so even if you're moving around a lot and dodging melee attacks, it's quite easy to maintain a full stack of the buff. The modifying talent Camouflage really makes this keystone shine by topping off your stacks during break in your movement, and Chink in their armor adds a very healthy bit of damage to the keystone's talent investment requirement by adding 10% rending at max stacks. The rightmost keystone weapon specialist feels pretty solid right now, encouraging a playstyle of swapping back and forth between your weapons to acquire, activate, and juggle buffs. I'm sure they will be patching this several times to fix its various bugs and adjust all the numbers to a healthy and happy place, but in general this feels like a W talent that adds a nice and interesting mechanics to the veteran's gameplay choices. I wish I could say the same for the midmost keystone, Focus Target, which puts a damage increasing debuff on any target you mark, and depending on the modifiers you take, which should at least be redirect fire, will boost your team's damage output and defenses for a short time. This keystone is quite strong, and if done right, can boost the whole team's damage output by about 30% for basically the whole mission, but this one still gets an L from me purely for accessibility. This talent feels very cumbersome to use, and it encourages you to mark literally every elite or special that passes in front of your crosshairs, which can be fine in ranged engagements, but quickly becomes detrimental in more chaotic melee combat like Ranger packs. I think it also will just encourage more players to remap their tag button to left click or something similar and end up just spamming and annoying their team all mission long with uninformative enemy notifications. I sorta like the idea behind this one, and there's no denying its strength. But it feels ill-conceived, and I hope it gets changed somehow. Maybe even just drawing out the timers so it feels less spammy. A couple last news items before I get to my build. Exhilarating Takedown is still bugged at the moment, and actually increases your damage taken instead of reducing it, so this is definitely a talent to avoid until it's patched. Grenade Tinkerer no longer provides stun immunity, so bear that tidbit in mind for your build ideas. Grenade talents have been rearranged mostly for the better, allowing you to in most cases more easily boost your build's grenade resources. Voice of Command received an honestly much deserved nerf, reducing overfill toughness from 100 down to 50. This talent was just so strong before that there was no reason to take anything else, so this really does feel like a good decision for the balance within the veteran class and within the greater class meta. Unfortunately, Confirmed Kill also took a pretty substantial nerf, now restoring 10% and 20% toughness instead of its long-standing 25 and 25%. These changes have reduced the veteran's durability a fairly substantial amount, so you'll need to adjust accordingly. This is the second durability nerf for the vet, them having lost the 75% damage reduction buff from volley fire during the class overhaul in patch 13, so Fat Shark appears to be focused on dialing the vet's tankiness into some level that they want, though what exactly that level is, I suppose we will only know in due time. Okay, and with that, I'd like to present a build that I cobbled together on patch night. I found a very nice green Columnus Infantry Autogun at Brunt's Armory that night, upgraded it at Hadron, and luckily got a very nice roll with a tier 4 Death Spitter, and so I decided to make a build around this gun. I replaced the Groaner damage with Flak damage to help dispatch shooters, gunners, and shotgunners quickly, and I replaced Hit and Run Blessing with Dum-Dums to rapidly ramp up my close range damage at the start of any fight. The build focuses mostly on the left side of the tree, but starts out in the middle to get Close Order Drill for damage reduction, and the newly nerfed, but still okay, Confirmed Kill to keep my toughness up. The vet feels quite squishy at the moment, so these talents help bulk him up a little bit. I've then taken Crack Nades because the Columnus AIG takes about an entire magazine to down a Crusher, which is not that viable for ammo economy or for speed when you have 4 Crushers show up, so Crack Nades help deal with those threats. Now I jump left to get the Survivalist Aura, which is just as great as ever to keep the team's ammo stockpile in better shape. Then straight down to Opening Salvo. The extra crit is a little bit nice to have, but the other option of Kill Zone is just terrible since I'm going to be in close range combat most of the mission. And even if I wasn't, there's pretty much always a Poxwalker or 2 in my personal space during any combat encounter, so this is just a bad talent most of the time. I'm taking Executioner's stance now that it's less stupid not to take Voice of Command. The damage increase is very solid, and the spread and recoil reduction are very noticeable in the Columnus, letting you really focus on snapping those headshots and extending the effective range of the Columnus by a substantial amount, letting you better pick off snipers and bombers and the like. I pretty much have to modify this with Relentless and Counterfire to keep the ability usable and rolling during combat. Precision Strikes is in a much more convenient place in the tree now and improves weak spot damage significantly. Determined grants suppression immunity, which helps immensely during firefights with shooters. Plus 25% ammo is very nice, and then this 10% damage reduction node will help offset some more of our squishiness. Superiority Complex and Marksman are both really nice to boost elite and weak spot damage, and takes us to the Marksman's Focus Keystone. As I mentioned earlier, this Keystone is my favorite at the moment, increasing weak spot and crit damage substantially and improving our reload speed. All of the weak spot damage buffs we've accumulated means that we can absolutely melt anything and everything we meet just by holding down the trigger and aiming at the head level. This setup really feels quite good. As mentioned earlier, Camouflage and Chink in their armor both modify this Keystone very nicely. For the last several points in my build, my first instinct was to make a dive for Iron Will for some extra durability, and that's the setup you're watching in the video. However, without our shout and with less toughness regen coming in from Confirmed Kill, I don't know that Iron Will is worth the talent investment since it only reduces the damage of one hit and it won't be very active when we need it. I also frequently felt naked without any grenade regeneration, so I would prefer to complete the build by powering up my grenade arsenal to make it easier to deal with melee elite packs. I swung through a 5% damage node and picked up Demolition Stockpile to get more Crack Nades, Grenade Tinkerer to boost their damage, and then with only 2 points left, there's not really a lot within reach. So I settled on Vanguard to let us sprint around more, and Out for Blood to raise our defensive sustain a little bit more. This lets us get some toughness back on ranged kills and just about doubles our toughness replenishment from melee kills. I decided to take a Mk III Powersword with this build since it's very effective at clearing dense hordes and will help soften up or mop up the elite packs we encounter that our Crack Nades don't eliminate. Power Cycler Tier 4 is a must as it triples the number of empowered swings the weapon gets, and Brutal Momentum comes in at the second best in slot blessing since it allows the swing that activates it to deal full damage to everything else it hits, instead of just dealing diminishing return damage. This allows you to one-shot huge swaths of enemies instead of taking 2 or even 3 swings to clear the area. For Curios, I'm still using 2 health Curios and a +3 stamina Curio, as they tend to bulk up our defenses right where we want them, I like to run 3 perks for health, 1 or 2 to both sniper and gunner resistance, and then some mix of corruption resistance or stamina regen for the remaining slots. And with that, I think I will leave things here for this video. There's a lot to dissect in patch 15, so expect another new video soon to explore some more features as we get a clearer picture of the state of the Veteran Sharpshooter class. Feel free to watch the rest of this mission without commentary as a showcase of the build I just shared. As always, thank you for watching. I've been really enjoying sharing these build guides with you all over the last few weeks, and taking a deeper look at the classes of Darktide. If you've made it this far, please consider liking and subbing if you enjoyed this video so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos or guides. I wish you all the best of luck out there, both on Automa and the real world, and I will catch you all next time.
Witness our deeds! Big Beauty's done for! Did you just take the friggin' ammo again? Someone call for a fire!
Reached the first waypoint. Proceed.
Thomas, drop it! Ammo! Check that out! Medicated station! Dead red!
Remain as a son, a group.
Major! Big Beauty's dead! Don't feel right without a troll. Playing Auric. Gonna take teamwork to bring that down. Here she goes! Down! Oh, it's a done playing Auric! Cursed body is all but immune! Go for the head! I see if you can! Put the eye in my husband! Crush it!
Roughneck!
It's dealt with! That's the top flamer done!
I was present at a heritage
Chastisements yesterday.
Ammo!
Among his deserved
actions. He babbled
the second with his feet.
Eldritch! Ammo! See that mother? Ammo! Surrender to these sinners! Forward! For the Emperor! problem now!
Those grenades were
Go
tedious.
there, Todd Slammer!
On you something special.
Hostile!
Keep moving, varmints. Do not give up.
Mother Golden! Rusty 220 combat stance! Duck in! Big Beauty's dead! Range is done!
Muti neutralized!
For the throne! Down! Get around him!
Enforcers do an imperfect job with imperfect tools. But at least they're honest about it. Unlike our zealot friends.
Tolerance is what got us into this mess. Fantastic! Hey! Forward! Corner! I'm out!
Engine protocol engaged!
Trappers down! Eliminating primary target! Corner!
Slain by its own vile orders.
I concur!
I ain't snipers! Won't miss that one! I can't fight without ammo! Ammo! Defense pack 212! Bring him down!
Contact on our duty! That's neutralized!
Eyes on the track C66! Following your lead!
Trained me well.
Not the most sensible areas that I have seen and survived.
I am certain that is true.
Putting it back! Stop dropping down! Do you hear the roar of the Ready and kill shot!
In death, thou art redeemed.
No more bother! Just my law! Thou shalt burn! Eliminating Alpha target! It's slain! Stop shot gunner! Stop shot gunner! A guy! Never
Ammunition. The boat
long time. Oh, Templar! Here is ammunition! They're dug in! Stab shotgunner! Stab shotgunner! Engaging critical target!
The beast is dead!
Waypoint Amphitheater. Achieved. Employ access ciphers to gain entry. Once the stings are located, open the gate to enable swift extraction. If you can prevent heretic reinforcements from entering the amphitheater, your survival odds are greatly increased.
Reckon the Emperor ever talks to his attendants?
He might choose to speak psychically to those of us you call freaks.
The 12 High Lords of Terror govern the destiny of mankind.
Don't mess with the
In the
guard!
Master's name!
You are not together. You should be.
For the
Now.
Emperor! Ammo! Guns empty! Reloading! Take that! A tall moraine lost! Not while I've got anything to do with it!
Your resolve is admirable, Roughneck.
You have found the stims.
Enemy activity has been reported. I thought you'd like to know.
Indeed. Access the roof controls.
Launch clearance has been granted. The rest is on to you.
All muscle, no brain! Feel the blessing! Engaging priority target!
It's dead now!
Rachel! Rachel! That side is efficient! Touch one block! Suppressing fire! I'll bring her of unholy fire!
We'll need to break their defenses!
Fire reloading! Weapons on! Driver! Medical station does good work. Occasionally. Snipers! Now miss, won't miss. Now just
Excellent. This combat center will now use
Assuming they just die.
Not so. Connection is targeted, but danger is eternal.
Sniper!
Shield raid!
Glorious day! Company tracker is dead! That's a nightmare!
Out of my head!
Repent! Repent! Sniper! Right no more! No! Sighting it! Traxxas 77 inbound! No more top flare! Agreed!
Fury!
Pack down!
Delicious light! Darken!
Any business got it! So noisy now!
Completion imminent.
Fucking now! I ain't scared of you! Next shot's on it! The hound is gone! Don't blame it! Go riddance!
Veteran!
I'm just getting started. Glory be to the Master who guideth us all. We shall ride them into the open. Yes.
Big beauty! Big beauty now! Busted 220 engaged! Bombers had it!
That is it. You have done well, varmints. Withdraw.
For it over! Stand up and fuck!